All right. Good morning, everyone. Morning. So if you're here, please type GM. Let's say GM to everyone. Good morning, you all. Okay. Was it hard waking up for you today? It was very hard for me. I don't know, maybe because of the weather. All right, huh? Says no. A little bit. All right. So, are you happy with your scores from the midterm? I think they were announced on Thursday evening. It says no. If you want to see your paper, if you want me to check, I can do that. Just send me an email. And I think it was easy, and I think I was generous in grading those. I accepted nearly everything as long as they showed something. But of course, that's not the topic of today. If you have any concerns, anyhow, please send me an email. Others have done, and we came to an agreement with them. All right, so let's let's remember what we have done last week. Do you remember our topic last week? What have we done last week? Of course, we reviewed the exam first, and then what did we talk about? Yes, sources such as, by the way, let me take my notepad. Journals, maybe the reliability of the sources that we also talk about that. Help me out here, guys, so that we can move past this one. We also talk about types of evidence, whether a sentence or a phrase or a statement is from a statistic, observation, or from a secondary source, or if they are fact, and if they are word by word quotation. Do you think you can understand when you see a statistic? Whether it's a statistic or an opinion or a fact? By the way, right now, do you see me or do you see the doc I shared? Or are they in two different pages? All right, yeah. Let me show you guys. So you should see something like this, and you can change the tabs to go to doc and the meeting. And it's the first time I'm trying this doc. Okay, you're seeing both at the same time or in tabs? Oh, okay, I didn't know. So, cool. So before we start, let me ask you some words that we've learned. Peer review. Do you remember this one? By the way, in the exam, this time there won't be a full essay, but of course I have to think about it. But there will be some concepts like this one, and I would want you to explain. I think essay part was very good and very fun to do, and everything was in front of your eyes. And I had really like I had some good papers really. An article has been read by experts. Yes, you are nearly there. So you send an article to a journal, the editor checks it and sends it to at least two different experts in the field and professors in the field. They too read the paper, check, and give some feedback to the original author. Like, do this, do that. And if they see the paper is fit for publishing, then they say, okay, the editor can publish it, and then editor does a last check, and then it gets published. And this is what happens in an ideal scenario. And that's why we say that we can trust a bit more to peer-reviewed journals and articles in peer-reviewed journals, as long as all other variables are controlled. Bütün diğer değişkenler kontrol edildiğini düşündüğünüzde, aynı olduğunda, peer-reviewed journal'lara daha fazla güven olabilir. Just the title, I haven't written anything there. So I said hi all now, if you can see that, I don't know. Just the title because I haven't. Oh, all right, cool. Yeah, that's why I was saying e-journals are a bit more reliable. So another question to you. In which cases would you trust a textbook, an academic textbook for your fields? What makes you believe the reliability of a book? Because as we've talked before, publishing books is not very difficult, right? As long as you have something to publish, as long as you know a publisher and you have some type of money. If the author is known, if the author is expert in the field, and if the author has published similar books and articles in the past, if he is an academic, or if he has a certain type of experience, if it has references, yes, and if it has mm, reliable references. If the references are from Wikipedia and Twitter and some newspapers only, well, we have to think twice there. So it doesn't have to be like there does not have to be a statistic for it to be reliable because in let's say in historical books, books that talk about history, we cannot mind maybe we cannot find so much of a statistic. It depends on the writer, of course, to talk about the like which aspects of that historical moment or that history or that period. However, statistics is not necessary. However, an evidence is necessary. So evidence could be in the form of a statistic, observation, or quotation, or from facts. Do I make myself clear here? Because if it is a book or if it's a paper on history, maybe we cannot see some observation, of course. Maybe we cannot see statistics. However, maybe the writer has investigated the previous correspondences between a king and, I don't know, um, a messenger, let's say, right? And it could have some quotations in it, and there could be some discussion on those quotations coupled with the realities of that historical period, and then it can be reliable. So, as long as it has some kind of evidence in it, it might be more reliable. If you can see, if you can recognize, I always say it might be, it may be, what am I doing here by adding these conscious language elements? Exactly. So, if I ask in the exam what makes a book a reliable one, and if I want three pieces of features from you, just like I did in the midterm exam when I was asking about the differences between academic writing and non-academic writing. So, you said the author is known, it has reliable references, and use of evidence. If you say these three, only the names, it is more than okay. Because in the exam, when it comes to the differences between academic and non-academic writing, some of you have written so many things, but you didn't need to. As I told you right before the exam, just write the concepts, the titles, the words. For example, objectivity, use of language, structure. These three were more than enough. And there you get like 3 points or 4 points per concept. All right. So before we go any further, now let's do an hedging act. Oh, before that, let me give you some test statements. Then you could tell me whether like you could tell me the answer. So let's go back to the doc here, up there. Click on that, and I'll ask you a question there. So, 65% of students prefer X only no. And I have the options for you here. So, which one the answer is? It's a statistic, yeah. And next one is about claims. Yes, right now it should be in that form. I think everybody can see it. Is it C or B? Mhm. The answer is B, of course. For it to be citation, you need the author name and the year and maybe the page in some cases. But a claim in a text is your main point, and you need to find some proof for your main point. And like as we have discussed last week. So another one coming up while I'm checking the options. Mhm. Best place to find peer-reviewed papers quickly. Google Scholar. You say Google Scholar. Why not Google Books? There are also academic sources. Okay, going very well. Next one is this. Again, we have some quick answers. Author and the year. Is it author name or surname? Or name and surname? Just the surname. Yeah, exactly. Because in the exam, I've seen some students writing name and surname together or only the name. And we need comma before the year. And this is for indirect in-text citation. So, if it had, if it were something like this, and if the sentence as, so if the sentence was something like this, I accepted quotation and like I would accept quote and direct citation because this part, is it taken from another source as it is, or do you think this part has been changed? The underlined part as it is, yeah. But this one here, is it my own ideas, my own intellectual property poured onto the paper? Is this my sentence, my start of the sentence, or is this coming from the author and the year as well? Yes, this is my own, or of course, rephrase probably. But I do not want to rephrase when it comes to here because I think, as a research writing, this part needs to be conveyed as it is because it tells the story better than any other rephrased version I could write or tell. As you can see, it doesn't say advantages here, it says affordances. And there is a nuance to it. So I decide to keep it as it is. All right. So let's give a surname, not Kırlak this time. Let it be Gutale and the year 2023 and the page. Gutale, your, yeah. What's your lucky number? Ayan Lee. 13. All right. A bit controversial. All right. Gutale 2023 and page 13. So this shows us that there is a paper, book, conference paper, something Gutale has written in 2023, and on the page 13 we have a sentence which has this part exactly as it is. All right. Very easy question coming up for you. Exactly. What type of references? You can be a bit more specific in the exam reliable ones, right? Okay. Yes, it's in APA. Like, um, it doesn't show any APA here, but we've generally gone with the APA, and this is APA, and I only know APA. Exactly. All right. Cool, cool, cool. So let's leave those aside and let's start our lesson. But in fact, we have 9 minutes. So, do you have any questions before we go on to another activity? Okay. Could you try to write here? Can you write here or any place else in here? Do you have that chance, the feature? Can you type here, guys? Let's check. It's just a shared screen. Okay. So, oh, good one. Good question. I'll touch upon that. Or let me see if I can copy the link for you. So can you click on that? Maybe that way it will work. So while you are trying that, I would like to answer Ayani's question. So, okay, can you do it one more time? Because I updated you should be able to edit it. Ee, Yönetici ayarı. So it's not up to me, it's up to the IT because what I have done is I've chosen, let me show you. I've chosen like this. One sec. Okay. So on Google Scholar, we access academic papers from journals, right? And of course, we can access some books, some chapters in books, some conference papers, but 90% of the time, Google Scholar is for papers. And when we go to Google Books, we can only see books there and books that Google has access to. And we know for a fact that books are not peer reviewed most of the times. So that's why we cannot see peer-reviewed pieces on Google Book. All right, thank you. So let me give you a sentence here. Students often believe highlighting, highlighting? You have like colorful like pencils when you like, yeah. Like this is okay, let me show you. It's easier to show you. This is a highlighting, okay? Exactly. Um, Students often believe highlighting is effective, but research shows that it mostly helps out. So it mostly helps only when learners are already know how to select key ideas. Without that skill, highlighting becomes copying. All right. So let's work on this. In the exam, I may give you a sentence for you to work on it. And this time, I will have less questions. First 7 weeks for us, a little bit more was a little bit more condensed. It was heavy, so I needed to put everything in there. I haven't missed any uh, part of the lesson that we've covered, so I wanted to include them all. But when it comes to final exam, it will be less condensed because the 7 weeks after the midterms are not very heavy. So there will be less questions with more graded points. No, it won't be multiple choice. And there's a reason for that. Of course, I can have one or two multiple choice in the whole thing. However, we will not do it like the optic one because we are doing hands-on practices here in the exam and here in the course. And I would like to be able to ask whatever I want and whatever we have covered. Yeah, maybe all exactly. Because if I wanted to, like, it was delusional for me to read 400 papers. I really broke out. It was very difficult to see the same things over and over again. And I've seen like 20-25% of the papers were just making up answers. I asked Google Scholar, and he or she has written, it's a good platform we can use for studying and for learning and for students. It's a program. It doesn't say anything. It just tries to get one or two point out of the question, and it really um, made me tired. So, and to have a multiple choice optic exam, I should send the questions 5 days ago. Like it should have been done 5 days ago. And I cannot prepare questions without actually covering them with you in the class. So I chose not to have the multiple choice optic tests. Okay, let's list 5 keywords we must keep when we want to rephrase this. So, which 5 words here must be kept? Highlighting, of course, it's the core of this sentence. We cannot change highlighting when we are rewriting this. Uh, Let's not say 5 keywords because there might be less than five. Research. For research, I think we could say literature. Literature or also means the studies conducted in that specific field. So you could say literature shows mostly helps. Um, Key ideas. I think, yeah, we can keep it. And also we can keep copying because any other word we can say instead of copying would be different, would have a different meaning. And so learners and students, are they the same thing? someone, like every student is a learner, but every learner, like, is every learner a student? No, if you are enrolled in a program in, like, at a school, at a uni, at a course, exactly. But here it used both of them interchangeably. So it's a slippery slope, but normally they're not the same thing. Exactly. Skill. Can we change skill? What are some synonyms for skill? Skill, competence, ability, and but like when you go into detail, skill and ability are two different things, maybe. And competence is also like more comprehensive. So we can also keep skill. Is a skill a strategy? It may not be. Okay, so we can keep highlighting skill, students and learners, key ideas, and copying. I think that's more than enough. All right. So let's take a 15-minute break. Is that cool? Okay, I will be here a few minutes more here. So if you have any questions, anything personal, I'm here. So uh, let's set up our timers for 15 minutes and hope to see you by then. Bye bye.